6th, 7th, 8th grade. All right, so everybody does 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade science in middle school. However, the contents, for instance, in 6th grade, they did cell biology, I think, and in 7th grade, they touched a lot of chemistry. And in 8th grade, they're doing a lot of physics. The contents are the same between SUMMA and non-SUMMA. Maybe the SUMMA students get more lab work or maybe deeper applications via maybe a mandatory science fair or more challenging homework, but the contents are the same for science. In high school, they all start with physics. Moving on, and I didn't put the reading and social studies in here. The contents are identical for SUMMA and non-SUMMA. Depending on whether they're SUMMA students, maybe they have shorter window to submit that poem or that protest song or that argumentative essay compared to the rest of them. Or maybe they're held to a little higher standard, especially if they're tagged in reading or if they're in SUMMA program. But what they learn in middle school, the content-wise, it's pretty much identical. How do you get to SUMMA? Paths to SUMMA. There's many paths, and back when I was an elementary school parent, it confused me to no end. I tried to be as precise as possible with my representation here. There are two ways to get there, typically speaking. There are two tests your kid could take. I think they're offered as a mandatory test, COGAT screener. Last I checked, they were offered in 3rd and 5th grade. That could be different now. Please don't quote me on it. This COGAT screener is basically, it's not like math reading specific. It's all in one. It's one test, one screener. 97th percentile in that screener gets them qualified for a full test. 99th percentile in the full test qualifies them for SUMMA. Keep in mind percentile, it's not percentage. So that means to put things in perspective, if 100 kids take the COGAT full test, 99 of them would have scored less than the SUMMA qualified student, just to give you an idea. That's COGAT way of qualifying for SUMMA. Then there is another test. I think you can take it any year. Your teacher, your class teacher could recommend your student to take ITBS if they see that they could be exceptionally talented and skilled, or your parent, you as parent can request your child be administered ITBS. Now, from ITBS is specific for math and a different one for reading. And kids can take both. The reason why ITBS is administered is to identify a student as tagged as talented and gifted. They could just choose to do, if there is a student that is really exceptional in math, but average on par with the rest of the class for reading, it's in their best interest to take the ITBS for math. And if they take that and they get 99th percentile in math, they are automatically tagged in math. What that means is when they go to middle school, they will take SUMMA math and science, whether or not they are qualified for SUMMA in the COGAT or any other test. Does that make sense? So if your child takes ITBS for math, scores 99th percentile in math, they are tagged in math. Similarly, if your child takes ITBS for reading and they score 99th percentile in reading, they are tagged for reading, meaning when they go into middle school, they take reading, language arts, and social studies with the SUMMA students, whether or not they're SUMMA qualified. That's the tag part. That is these two bullet points I have on the bottom here. 99th percentile in ITBS for math, you will take SUMMA path for math and sciences. 99th percentile for reading test in ITBS, you will take the SUMMA path for language arts and social studies. I hope I haven't confused you enough, but you can also SUMMA qualify from ITBS as well, just like you can from the COGAT full test. COGAT full test, 99% SUMMA. ITBS, you take both math and reading, score 99th in at least one of them, and at least 97th in the other. In other words, your child could score 99th percentile in math and at least 97th in reading. That's SUMMA qualified. 99th percentile in reading and at least 97th percentile in math, SUMMA qualified. Forget all of this. Keep it in mind. The 99 is important. You need to get 99 in at least one, either the COGAT full screener, ITBS math, or ITBS reading. Your child needs to score 99th percentile. But if you're taking the ITBS path, you also need a 97 in the other. Make sense? I'm going to move on. I'm sure there's more explanation down below. So facts. SUMMA in middle school is a great way to challenge the highly gifted students. Kids that are doing higher level calculus are going to be bored to death if they're offered Algebra 1 in middle school, right? So SUMMA is a great way to place them according to the skill level they're at. SUMMA is not the only indication of future success of middle school students. The fact that they're in SUMMA doesn't automatically pave way for a different level of high school education for them. Once a student is SUMMA, they continue to be so throughout middle school. They don't have to renew their SUMMA status every year. That's a good thing. Once they're SUMMA, they're always SUMMA. Okay, and this is the important part that I would like to mention here. Training students to crack SUMMA, it's an individual choice. Some parents like training them as early as 1st or 7th grade, sending them to math enrichment, reading enrichment. That's an individual choice. We are not here to advocate or admonish such training. Non-SUMMA students can request ITBS administered for them at the beginning of 7th and 8th grades too, if they choose to. For instance, if a student was not SUMMA going into 6th grade, they have another opportunity to test in 7th grade and yet another in 8th if they chose to do it. SUMMA concept ends in middle school. It does not exist in high school at all. Everybody's the same come high school. This concept of SUMMA is specific and inclusive of only middle school. And so SUMMA, all students can participate in all of activities at school. There's no activity at school that is specific to SUMMA that's not available for others. Olympiads, science fairs, bowls, geography bee, spelling bee, OBOB, you name it, everybody is the same, everybody can participate. Being in SUMMA doesn't give them any more of an advantage. Not being in SUMMA doesn't give the student any less of an advantage. It doesn't put them at disadvantage, is what I meant to say. Continuing with the, oops. Why should we take the results of these standardized tests with a grain of salt? I talked a whole bunch about COGAT and ITBS, right? I do take them with a grain of salt. As good as they are in identifying majority of the gifted. Look at this, for instance. This is a quote from a published author. This person is a teen. He's not SUMMA. He's not verbal. He's autistic. But he's a published author. There's no way this test would have caught him as a SUMMA. And to this day, whenever this person authors anything, even a simple social media post, sometimes I have to open my dictionary to understand the words he uses. That's talented, but our screening test won't catch this person as SUMMA. Here's a screenshot of the scores of one student. On the top, you see the 93 up here. That is the COGAT screener. This is the number you want 97 to be for the student to be administered the full COGAT. So clearly this person didn't make the cut. On the bottom here, you see the ITBS test. This person got 96th percentile in reading, 99th percentile in math. Because this 96 is less than 97, this person is not SUMMA. They are tagged in math, so they are taking SUMMA math and science in middle school. This person is a young philanthropist, was awarded Royal Rosarian's Newsmaker of the Year. These tests awarded them as non-SUMMA. I'm just giving you a flavor of some of the situations where the kids' real talent is really not captured in these tests. What I want you all to know today, Standardized test results are great at screening out majority of the skilled students, but they don't often represent the true talent also, like you saw in the previous two examples. Even truly talented students might have trouble taking these tests. Maybe they're not comfortable taking a test in a room, but that doesn't mean they're not talented and gifted. And even exceptional students, even those that are used to taking these tests, they could have bad days. Maybe that 96 would be 98 on a different day for that previous student. So take these results with a grain of salt. That's what I wanted to tell you. What else do I want to emphasize? Overemphasis on SUMMA program. It has a huge negative impact on our children and indirectly on our community as well. SUMMA is assumed to be the sole metric for middle schoolers' competence. The minute you're at a dinner party and you're meeting a student for the first time, you are a middle school parent or a prospective middle school parent yourself, and you see a middle schooler out there, like, oh wow, you're in middle school? Are you in SUMMA? That becomes the first introductory line between any stranger and a middle schooler. It has come to that. SUMMA is assumed to be the very metric for their competence, which it should not be. Prospective middle school students feel enormous pressure to crack SUMMA. Talk to any fifth graders or fifth grade parents like you all. You must be feeling some kind of pressure to see, oh, will my kid be SUMMA or not? Non-SUMMA students feel isolated and their confidence dwindles, because if any conversation that they ever get into for the 3 years of their middle school always starts with, are you in SUMMA? Oh, you're not. As if they're some kind of third-rate citizens. And then that impacts their confidence. These are teens, their hormones are raging. You want the confidence to go higher and higher, not dwindle. SUMMA students get a false sense of superiority. I feel like they sometimes wear it as the badge of their honor, and that impacts some friendships in some cases. I'm not saying this is true for all of them, but it does sometimes affect some friendships too, because of the SUMMA obsession, not from the students themselves, but from the aunties and uncles around them, making that as their icebreaker question. Are you in middle school? Are you in SUMMA? So I want this emphasis. Actually, I want you all to know what overemphasis on SUMMA program does. I'm not saying one way or another, whether focus it or not. I'm just telling you my experience. Coming down to individual Stoller Middle School experience, like I said, I've been sending my child to Stoller for the last 2.5 years. It's on Laidlaw Road. Hours are like any public middle school, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. There are plenty of electives to choose from: drama, band, choir. I'm not going to read them all, but it's pretty awesome that the breadth of electives they could take and they could try out to see whether they like it or not. It's enormous. I wish I grew up in this country to have that kind of exposure. Back in India, as you all know, we have math and science, engineer, doctor, nothing else, right? But they get exposed to a lot here. The mandatory courses are math, science, language arts, and social studies, like we've been talking about. PE and health is also mandatory. Every student, regardless of their SUMMA status, regardless of their electives, they all take PE. Pros, there's plenty of opportunities to thrive. I mentioned earlier, this is not in any way, shape, or form specific or restricted to SUMMA. Everybody can participate. Speech and debate, OBOB, math, science, bowls, Olympiads, you be the chemist, you name it, or you can come up with your own. Stoller has been the participant and winner of many of these competitions for many, many years. So it's really, really good school in encouraging these enrichment activities outside of school. It's a really large campus. It can be good or bad, but I put it in pro simply because it's going to prepare the students for the rigor and logistics of high school. High schools are sprawling, they're really large campuses. I think the large campus of middle school really prepares them for the rigor of high school that's coming up. Cons, they go hand in hand. The class sizes are very large. 40 students in each class in this year, and then excessive emphasis on SUMMA. I put it on con as my personal experience. Other people might differ in their opinions. So with that, I'll stop my spiel for Stoller and I'll hand it to Aparna for Tumwater Middle School.
Thanks, Jyoti. Do you mind driving it for me, if you don't mind?
Sure, I don't mind at all.
Perfect. Hi, guys. I think I would like to concur with what Jyoti just said. I have a high schooler today who went through Tumwater in its first year, last year. And I would like to emphasize that SUMMA or not, I think one perspective that I not only bring to myself and remind my child is that like many things that we look around ourselves, like, you know, we all work at Intel, Nike, wherever we are at. One thing we need to remember and recognize is that at the end of the day, it's all a melting pot, right? We've all come from the IITs and RECs and NITs, and we've got all these tags. But then when you really look down and you sit for lunch at Intel or any other campus, you know, that you're at the end of the day, the person across from you who's as competent or your boss doesn't come from an IIT. So just keep that in perspective. It's pretty similar with the SUMMA program, right? So SUMMA kids, the kids really don't care in general. Like they're out there to make friendships and have a great day, and that's all they're looking for. But sometimes the program or the community drives a particular recognition or badge of honor, and I think we kind of like taint the child, you know, to a certain extent with an expectation, assuming that this is what's going to lead them to the path wherever they want to be. At the end of the day, I think, you know, today when I see my child in high school, it's level, it's plain field, right? It's all leveled out. It doesn't matter SUMMA, non-SUMMA, you know, it doesn't matter if it's like some random school in Southeast that we've never heard of. They're all here and they're all thriving and they're all great in whatever they do. So just keep that in perspective while you go through this process. There's no right or wrong answer for anybody. It's a personal decision for you and your family and your student. But there's no badge of honor here. I can tell you that, you know, going through the process, there's absolutely no badge of honor. But going to talk about Tumwater is like a brand new school. It's near Market of Choice. So they've I think the school's been here for a little over 2 years. They've functioned as a middle school this past year. So my daughter was the first graduating class out of Tumwater, so 8th grade last year. So just like Stoller, you know, they have a large variety of electives. They have the same mandatory classes, you know, math, science, language arts, social studies, like Jyoti mentioned. They have a pretty similar, I want to say, in the clubs that they have. I think the one thing that's really an advantage right now is it's just like anything that's new, flashy, and shiny. It is a new, flashy, shiny object, right? So when you go to the school, you know, if you go to Stoller, it's got the Stoller glow because of the way the program's been administered and the name that Stoller's built. It's a reputation, right? But if you go to Tumwater, the building's fancy, right? So it's a very different perspective. Tumwater hasn't really established itself as a Stoller of the world, but it's a great building. It's the teachers and the administration come from other schools. So it brings a very different perspective, a very good perspective. And I think from a new school perspective, the one that I think was great for these children is they, as the first batch and maybe the future batches, like the early few years that Tumwater still is tagged as a new school, they have the opportunity to create a lot of things, right? So student council was very big last year, right? So students could sign up, they could be part of programs, they could influence decisions with their administration at school. They could run drives, they could raise funds, the things that they were given an opportunity to. Now in Stoller, it's probably just streamlined. I'm not sure, but it probably is streamlined. So the pros of a new school are plenty, right? There are many leadership opportunities, many ways to kind of influence how you as a student want to have Tumwater or represent Tumwater in the community. You know, so those opportunities are plenty. At least I saw plenty last year, and I'm hearing a lot this year as well. Cons, I think for me, I really didn't have a con, but a new school is a concern sometimes, right? You wonder if the teachers are going to be good. You wonder if the program's mature. You wonder if, you know, it has the same competition as its peer, Stoller, right? So these are concerns that you have, and it's valid, I think. But the one thing to the one thing to emphasize also with your student is while peer pressure and peer competition is always great, and don't get me wrong, I also remind my child that, sometimes if you sit, the same good old saying in India, right? One rotten apple rots the basket. It's true. That does exist. The mindset is tainted, no matter how, you think about not being a fixed mindset. That's true. It exists. But I think one perspective is to kind of teach them. And a little bit, I noticed the past year with my child was that, the school, because you are a smaller class size, and it will grow, I can guarantee you that. Tumwater is the neighborhoods are growing. So the school will grow at some point. It is going to be large school, class sizes. But today it's not as large, right? So there's a remapping of the district. I'm not sure if you guys are like tracking that. There's a remapping that's underway. So Tumwater will be affected by that. So at the end of the day, the emphasis is also that you are your own competition, right? Your competition is in the mirror that you're seeing. So the school kind of did try to kind of put that in to make, because the class sizes were so small and some of these children are very competitive, some of these teachers kind of redirect them, so that's, I felt like that's great. I mean, whether I can compete and be part, or my child is competent compared to a stroller student. But there was a lot of other things that this child learned because it was a brand new school, so there are advantages to any program that you put your kid in. Summa, non-Summa, Stoller, Tumwater, like whichever way you choose, there's a plethora of opportunities, and it's how you take them. So I think with that, we'll go to the next school.
Thanks, Aparna.
Yeah,
I'm completely with you on. I love the mirror perspective. Something I use that with my own life, not just my students' life. So
yeah.
All right. Akma.
Jyoti, yeah, I'm.
Lavanya, can you hear me?
You can hear you. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can. You're up next.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hi, everyone.
Lavanya, your audio is quite jumbled.
Is it okay now?
It's there's still some.
Are you able to hear me, guys?
Yeah, it's much less choppy than it was before.
Okay, are you able to hear me now? I'm
no,
sorry,
choppy
actually, I'm
again.
outside. Oh, okay, just give me a few minutes. I'll just get back to another place.
Okay, can I move on to the next school while you do it, and then we'll come
back?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, so we have base up next. Padma or Mahasaha, who's driving it?
Hey, Jyoti.
Hi, Padma.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I'm Padma, and I'm mother of two girls going to base for about 3 years now. So my younger one is in middle, and my older one is in 9th grade high school. So like any other option schools, base has been excellent, no doubt, like all other option schools. But since a couple of years ago, there was like very less competition towards going towards base. I guess their biomed, or maybe the boundary change, or whatever could be the reason, suddenly there was a high demand, and many Indian parents contacted me past couple years, just wanted to know how base works, or how good it could be for the girls or the boys, or is it only for boys or girls, or they had like multiple questions. But this session is, I'm sure it will answer many parents' concerns. But yes, I'm sure it will be benefited for anybody who is willing to go for a biomed, or it's more focused on the sciences and engineering side. And as you said, there was a hands-on application oriented training, so which was perfect too. It's a combo of middle and high school, no SUMMA oriented or anything. There's no recognition as such. Anybody interested can take a placement test at the start of the year. But my kids felt there was no big difference about taking a test or not taking a test. So that was totally fine. About 800 kids in the school. So comparatively, the classes have been much, the strength of the class was much smaller. The duration of each class has been like about an hour, 20 minutes. About 1 hour, 20 minutes. Few kids felt it was a little longer to focus and stay, with the class and with the teacher. But otherwise, some kids just love it because they get extra time to finish the work and the homework, and they come back home happy with no much work on hand. So that's fine too. So campus is comparatively little smaller when compared to other high schools, and the corridors have been always nothing separate for mixed. It was like more or less mixed for middle and high school kids. So everybody will be changing classes at the same time. So, and there is also no lockers is one thing. But otherwise, school-wise, it's excellent. Spanish is very good, and they start at 8th grade. And as it says, the middle school kind of introduces to all the pathways to know which is best for you to go ahead in high school. Yearly, once they have a science fair, which is more on the biomed side and the sciences or the robotics construction kind of science fair. It has been pretty interesting, which when I went before COVID, after COVID, they didn't have one though. But and one of the best HOSA programs they have for biomedical, heard they go for a yearly competition, and kids stay back after school. It's more or less like a club, and they have about 200 to 300 students in it. So over the year, they make groups, they make competitions, and whoever wins kind of goes to the state finals and kind of stuff like that. And there are more clubs too for sports. Kids make their own clubs. They come up with ideas. Teachers and all just support. But whereas all the clubs are run more on kid oriented is what I felt. Not, yeah, that's about it. They start early, like much earlier than the high school. School little congested with high and middle school at the same time. And one big drawback I heard from parents was there's no natural light in the school. As in, it was like building from four corners, and the rest, all the classrooms in between the building have no windows as such. So that's the only thing. But otherwise, school-wise, academics-wise, school has been excellent. My girls are totally happy with it. So I guess I covered pretty much what I thought I should.
You missed the Taco Bell, Padma. I heard that was a huge selling point for it.
Yes, it is actually. Many kids love it to walk to Taco Bell, to hang out there for some time, and it's considered one of the best Taco Bells in town. So yes, my kids are a Taco Bell fan, so I'm sure that is what she told me that I should, she should add it there. My girls helped me put this together.
Excellent, excellent choice. All right.
So, can we have questions now, or is it towards the end?
Towards the end, please.
Oh, thank you.
Are you there, Lavanya?
Yeah, I'm there. Are you able to hear me now?
Much better. Oops.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, here's Lavanya talking about ACMA.
Okay, yeah. Hi guys, I'm really sorry. Actually, I'm just now finished my event and came back. I'm actually outside. Please adjust if my voice is not that much clear. So I would like to represent for. So she is very much she loves dance. She loves.
Lavanya, it's back to being choppy again. We are unable to hear it. And at the beginning, it was fine for the.
If my video is off, are you guys able to hear me fully?
Yeah, please try with video off, Lavanya.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So I'm just here to represent about ACMA. ACMA is mainly related to arts and communication. So my daughter, she is very much into dance and acting. So when she saw about this optional school, her first choice is ACMA. As a parent, especially as an Indian, even I was scared to send her to ACMA. But I could see that she started loving ACMA a lot. She's the only Indian kid there. And I feel that the teachers there and her friends, they are really very supportive to her. I was very much scared how she will get adjusted with everyone because there was no Indian kid and she was the only one, but I could see a lot of difference in her. Her confidence has raised very well, and I can see a lot of difference in her academic. She's doing very well in academic. So ACMA is like other optional school. It has the same academic structure like math, science, social studies, PE, health, everything. But their electives is like very much into arts. That is, they classify as performing arts, visual arts, and communication arts. So in performing arts, they'll be learning about dance, like tap, jazz, ballet, those stuffs, music, and they also learn about theater. So how to do their acting in theater. They are taught how to do the acting. And if it comes for visual arts, they learn about ceramics, sculptures, drawing, painting, and photography. And if it comes for communication arts, they are going to learn about making of film, creative writing, animation, and graphic design. So most far, since I'm working as a substitute teacher in a Beaverton school district, whenever I go to kids in school and ask for fifth graders, most of the kids' choice will be ACMA actually, because kids love to explore in arts. I have seen many of our Indian kids, they love to explore in arts. So if you feel your kid really loves art, they are very proficient in it, and they are very much skilled, I would ask you all, please support their interest. What I have done is I want my kid to explore what she loves, and that is why I took her to ACMA. And she has become confident after going there, and she's learning a lot. So, and what I would say is a big pro is kids enjoy loving what they want. Most of the kids, they love art as far as I was seen as a teacher, and they are enjoying it and learning it, both academic as well as their art stuff. But only con I see in the school is if it comes for a performance, if she's going to act in a play, sometimes it takes a lot of time for her to practice. They take around 1 month. Evening, they used to stay. She used to come home very late. And during the performance time, sometimes she comes around 10 o'clock at night. So only thing is they have to manage their time. Both they have to take care of their physical as well as mental stress, because they have to balance between academic and art. That is the only stuff. If they're able to manage both academic and arts, then it should be a very good school for them. And the school is really very good. They have a very good infrastructure. Recently, they have renovated it. They have separate dance studios for jazz and for ballet or for tap, and very good auditorium and theater. And the kids there are really very excellent. And I have been many of the awards there, and the way they act, the way they present themselves in stage is really awesome. It was like being in a Oscar award function. How you see kids, actors coming there and doing that. Kids were in another level. I could see so much confident and so natural they are in their creativeness. And I
Lavanya, I think we lost you there. I think Lavanya covered pretty much most of it. So we're going to move on to the next school in the interest of time. Let's move on to ISB. Do we have Rupal here?
Yes, hi. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you, Rupal. Take it away.
Sorry, I just came back from my daughter's dance performance, so I couldn't add much to the slides there. So I have, my son is a middle schooler at Tumwater, and my daughter is a sophomore at Sunset High School. And her middle school was ISB. That's the reason I'm here today. A very good school. We had a very, very positive experience at ISB. The teachers are very invested in the kids. It's a small school, not a very big one, not too many clubs, but you can always choose them. If you really want them, you can start it. And plus it starts in the morning. So by the time the kids get home, it's about 2:30. They have almost all of little bit of afternoon and all of evening where they can work on. that gave her, at least my daughter, a lot of time to work on her dance. She just finished her Arangetram. And just one, it's not for kids who cannot rise early. It's so what we used to do was carpool. We had 3 or 4 girls in the neighborhood, so they used to leave by around 7:10 and be in school by 7:30. And again, while picking up, either we used to carpool, or even if you go pick them up, you're easily home by 2:30.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Rupal. Was that the last of your talk?
Hey Jyoti, this is Aditi. I'm also ISP. My
Yes, please go ahead
grade
and
is
add.
ISP. Yeah, I just want to add a couple of bullets here too. So I have a 6th grader going to ISP. And going back to the previous comments that you all had about SUMMA, non-SUMMA, I do want to just say that portion as well. My daughter was qualified for SUMMA, but she got into the option school lottery as well, and she chose option school. So there are many factors here when you are considering. So this was just our home, I guess, how it worked out. So that's that. And the reason I think she chose that, because she likes all the languages. She reads a lot. She says she wants to become writer at some point, I guess. So ISB is a good school for languages. That is one. They also have math and science as good programs as well. They do have this like AGS1, AGS2 that I have heard they offered in like 7th grade, 8th grade. That way you can, if you go back to 9th grade to your home school, Sunset, Westview, you can catch up to like AGS3 in 9th grade and go forward. So there are some options like those as well. And it is a second rated school in Oregon. So up there in the, when you have like they have this US News when they go and rate all the schools. ISB has consistently been in top 5 this year. Like last year, 2021's rating was number 2. So yeah, I just wanted to say that it's a good school. My daughter is loving it. She loves all the teachers and the curriculum as well. Also, as I think Rupal said, early rising, they have to rise, like kids have to wake up early. But then they get all the afternoon to themselves. I think that is a little bit advantage, I would say, for option schools. My older daughter was in Stoller. Now she is in Westview. But with her, I saw one that as a disadvantage, where you don't get much of a morning because the school starts at 9, and you don't get much in the evening as well, because by the time you come home, it's like 4:30ish. So if you are in ISB or any option schools, you come home a little early, like 2:30, 3 o'clock, and you have all the afternoon to do the study or do extracurricular activities, or join some clubs outside. That is one advantage.
I just want, sorry, Aditi, you were still talking, or?
Nah, I'm good. Go ahead, Rupal.
Yes, thank you. My preparation was very last minute. Just one more thing. We would have continued for high school as well for my daughter, for ISP. The only reason we did not was she wanted to choose something in computers. And if I'm not mistaken, at least till the time she graduated from middle school, they did not have a computer science pathway over there. So if somebody is looking for either programming or something, then ISB is not the best option.
Great. Thank you both, Rupal and Aditi.
Always welcome. And anybody can get in touch with us if they have any more questions about
Yeah, we have questions and answers in the end. With that, we move to Rachel Carson, the last of our option schools. Hari Lakshmi.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lakshmi, and my daughter is a Sunset freshman now. She graduated from RC, Rachel Carson. It used to be option school, but now it's called option program. But said that it still has a lottery system here, and it is located in Cedar Park Middle School. And I want to put one thing. I have two kids. One graduated from Stoller. Now she went to Sunset, and then now she's in college. And now the second one graduated from RC. You know what? End of the day, it all depends like how the kids wants to learn. Because the reason why I picked or I liked RC is like it's a small community and it is more focused on environmental, and the teachers are amazing. We have only 180 students in school, and every year, if I'm not wrong, I'm sure they're still doing that. It's only 60, I think they take in a lottery. So, and the more focus in RC is about like site visits, which plays a major important role. So it's all hands-on experience, which I loved, and my husband, we thought that would be best fit for Sahiti, who is a freshman in Sunset now. So we had amazing experience, and Sahiti wanted to talk about Rachel more. She wanted to talk. She is not letting me talk. So I will give her. Yeah, Sahiti, go ahead.
Hi. So, yeah, my name is Saithi, and I am a freshman in high school. And some of the pros about Rachel Carson is that it has such like a great sense of community. And as soon as you walk into Rachel Carson, you just know you belong because everyone is just friendly and like welcoming. And another thing is Rachel Carson, yes, it's an environment focused on environmental science, but you could also not have like science could like not be your favorite subject, but you could still have some interest, and you could definitely like you could love Rachel Carson. Like I know for a fact, like myself, science was not my top subject, but Rachel Carson was just an amazing school for me. One thing that Rachel Carson has is science fair, and we take science fair as a really big thing. It's like it like goes through all of our classes. So like during science fair time, it's like during all of our classes, and all the teachers are always so like welcoming, and like if you have questions, they're very focused and like making sure that all their students are learning to their best abilities.
Yeah, and other thing is like, the core teachers, we have 6 teachers who will be teaching in RC. It's like said that we have 2 science teachers and 2 humanities, right, Saiti? And 2 math teachers. So they will be teaching the core subjects, and the other electives they will be doing with the middle school. So the biggest con about RC is that it doesn't have its own building or anything. So they are placed inside one school. So now it is currently in Cedar Park. It used to be in a Five Oaks. So that's only negative of RC.
They're actually,
otherwise it's a best fit for any kid who loves.
We don't have humanities, it's language arts and social studies. So we have 2 separate teachers for that. And then we do have 2 math teachers, but they teach different math, but we do also have 2 science teachers, which you would get.
But personally, I can see Sahiti grows so much because unlike Alikia, who's my older one, who did from Stoller, we had all the path, whatever. I agree with Jyoti and Aparna talked about SUMMA, non-SUMMA, because we went through everything. And, she was a SUMMA kid, but that doesn't mean like she went from SUMMA to Sunset. When she reached through Sunset, I asked her one simple question. Did you see any difference in SUMMA? She said, yeah, maybe a little bit, because she was ahead in few things. But end of the day, it doesn't matter where they are. She said, we were all in the same level. When by the sophomore year, everyone was struggling or everyone was helping each other. So that was our personal experience being in SUMMA and non-SUMMA, because Sahiti went to Rachel and I have experience from both the sides. And I thoroughly enjoyed Sahiti going to Rachel because her personality is totally different from Alekia. So I you guys all know your kids, so you can sit with them and you can see which they like. So based on that, we have to decide, not on what other person is deciding which program they want to go. So yeah, that's our personal experience. Yeah. So, and
Thank you,
but
Sahiti.
perfect school. We loved it. We thoroughly enjoyed. The teachers are so good. Like, it's like a small community, so we are connected to the teachers. Like, the same teachers will be with your kids for 6, 7, and 8. So that was the biggest plus, and they know about the kids so well. Because see, like in other schools and all that, I could see the difference even with Alika. 6th, 7th, and 8th, as we are progressing, we had a different teachers for math or science or whatever, humanities. Unlike in Rachel, you will have the same teacher for 6th, 7th, and 8th. You will carry the same math teacher, same science teacher, and same humanities, language arts. So they know the kids end of 8th grade so well. Even you don't know your kid. The teacher, when you go to back to school night or whenever you talk to the teacher, they know your kid very well, even more than you. So that was a wonderful experience. So that was amazing part of RC.
Thank you, Lakshmi and Sahiti. Actually, I want to build on one thing. All the other schools, I believe there is a choice to go try for lottery in the subsequent years too, if you can't get in 6th grade, even after the second round where you write a letter and request to be allotted that option school. Like for instance, base, if you can't get into base in 6th grade, you could in 7th or even 8th. ISB also, maybe ACMA not so much, but RC definitely not, because of what Lakshmi just said. They have a immersive program where everybody does the same class. They have a different cadence. So a person coming from regular school entering RC at 7th grade, they would struggle because they would have lost the 1 year, the previous year. The difference between the two curriculums is huge enough that RC, you enter in 6th grade and done. You can't try in 7th grade onwards. That's the one point I wanted to add. And thanks again, all the individual parents, for talking about the option schools. I just have a last couple of things to say, and I'll open it up for questions. How can we help our students with middle school choices? Regular schools, if your child thrives in large class sizes, they're good at it with large social setting. They have no strong affinity towards any of the particular subjects that these option schools offer, like art or environment or languages or sciences. If they like to be challenged in SUMMA program, if they don't want to wake up early or drive long distance to school, if they don't want to deal with the uncertainty of, do I get the lottery, do I not get the lottery? Attendance at regular school is guaranteed. If they can navigate middle school while being in the non-SUMMA minority. I put that out there just to give you a perspective. Most Indian community belongs to the SUMMA. That's just how it is. If you feel that, if they feel they can navigate being in the non-SUMMA minority, regular school is for you. Option schools, they prefer, if your child prefers more individual attention, class sizes are small. If they have very strong affinity towards those specific specialized areas, the option schools cater to. If they're okay with not having access to SUMMA program, if they're okay with waking up early, if they're okay with enduring long commutes, and if they're okay with in 5th grade, if they're okay with, okay, I'll go there if I win the lottery, if not, I'm okay. If they prefer to avoid the pressure of being amidst a SUMMA majority. These are just some things I jotted down in our discussions with the other parents. Like I said, your experience might be different. And one final slide that I want to leave you with. SUMMA is an excellent program for the exceptionally talented and gifted. Non-SUMMA public schools are great too. SUMMA, Tumwater, Whitford, Cedar Park, they have mostly the same curriculum as SUMMA. So there's not a whole lot of difference between SUMMA and non-SUMMA in public schools. Option schools are excellent too, as you've heard from all the other parents that talked about option schools. I want to go to ACMA too if I had a choice and if I were that age group. I'm 3 decades too late here. But every student, regardless of which of the above 3 choices they make, SUMMA, non-SUMMA, option schools, regardless of which choice they make, they can thrive and shine as long as they have you as supportive family and all of us as a supportive community. It takes a village to raise our children. Let's make our village a positive, inclusive, and enriching one. If you forgot everything else we said today, the one thing I want you to take home today is, if you see a middle schooler at a dinner party, at a mehndi thing, at a dance party, at Diwali party, don't let that, are you in Summa, be the first question or any question or the 10th or the 100th question. It's not important. Are you in Summa should not be in our active vocabulary when we talk to middle schoolers. That's all I wanted to leave this discussion with. With that, Madhuri, I give it back to you for questions. Thanks again, all the parents, for coming together to put this presentation together. It was fun reliving the 5th grade experiences. Back to you, Madhuri.
Thank you so much, all the mothers, for the wonderful presentation. As a 5th grade mother, I also have a lot of questions in the mind. My daughter is also asking for ACMA, and I'm worried, as Lavanya said. Yeah, the presentation covered so many questions, but if mothers have, or if parents have specific questions, you can ask the specific person, like whom you want to talk to, like any option school parent or normal middle school parent.
Hi, this is Amit here. I'm Tashvi's father. So Tashvi is going to be a high schooler next year. So we are planning to again put her nomination in the lottery. She didn't qualify for last 3 years, but again we want to try. The question is there any benefit if suppose I'm asking from the perspective of STEM academics, if she goes to Westview or if she goes to base in high school, what are the benefits she would get from base? What are the benefits she will get from Westview? And are there any additional benefit from either of them when she goes to college? Like any additional points she will score from either of these schools?
Yeah, this question to high school parents, I think. So, yeah. Aparna.
Yeah, this is definitely a question for high school parent. Also, there's a lot that is different at that point. Middle school, there is still some common ground, even between option schools and regular. But once you choose base as your high school, or ISB, I think, goes to high school too. So they deviate quite a bit, I think. I think we are not the right people to answer that question.
Okay. Yeah, if in group, if anybody is aware of that, it could help. That would be really appreciated.
I could add.
I can add.
So,
okay, Padma.
Sorry, this is Aparna. I just have one quick question or answer to this. I think one thing that I would strongly recommend is probably talking to both a base counselor and talking to a counselor at Westview. You know your student better than the teachers at school, probably in some instances. So I would suggest that you have that dialogue with them. They are good resources to have. So have the dialogue with them and ask them, like, straight questions. So that way they could probably give you a more candid answer. And then I think you bring it down to the experiences of the community, because we all come in with a very different flavor. So and different needs for our children, right? So I think the most unbiased opinion would be coming from a counselor. They bias for their school, right? But not necessarily outside of it. So I think that probably is a better forum for you to kind of make sure you get a good holistic answer.
Great. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Nadia. I have a question. So my kid is tagged in math. So if she's not chosen an option school yet. So in case if she chooses an option school, will she be taking advanced math in that as well, or the regular math? I just wanted to seek your opinion on it. Thanks.
Please type ISP, and Rupal, you can correct me if, or add more to it. What I have heard is they also have similar things. You have to do placement test in 6th grade. They judge you based on the placement test, which group you fall into, as Jyoti was showing in the slides. Is it like a 6, 7, 7, 8, just 7th? So they take you from there. But if you go to, so your kid is tagged, they do the placement test, they do get selected in that accelerated math program at 6th grader, then they will do AGS 1 in 7th, AGS 2 in 8th. So it will be same as what you would get SUMMA program in Stoller, for example.
Okay. All the school have the, thanks for answering that, Aditi. All the school have that option. Am I correct?
Probably.
Okay.
So I think I'm just going to tag to that, Nadia. I think one thing to keep in perspective: SUMMA, non-SUMMA, option school, no matter what it is, every school when you get in 6th grade, every school offers a placement test for math.
Okay.
So the level of where your kid places, that's your option. So getting into SUMMA doesn't mean you start at 7, 8, or you start at 6, 7, or AGS 1. You basically take everybody's after that placement test. You play, it depends on where your child places. All schools offer that, if I'm not wrong.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any more questions?
Yeah, hi. I wanted to ask regarding base. My daughter currently, she's in 7th grade middle school. So we are trying to, try for base option school. So next year she'll be going into 8th. So will there be any difficulty like going to an option school from a regular middle school at this point of time? Like at 8th grade, if she tries to enter the option school, will there be any difficulties to catch up with the already kids who are already there in base? Or nothing like that? Like already kids who are into base, or parents can answer this.
Padma, I think this one is for you. So going to base as a 6th grader versus going to base as an 8th grader. Do you have a perspective on that? Padma?
There is no big difference as such because it's only the friends I feel might be a little different because this more like stroller, we had many Indian kids, so it never felt very different. When compared to going to base, it was like a mix of all kinds of kids. So the first 1-2 years was a little bit of a little rough patch for the girls to get to know everybody and understand. But now I think many friends are following friends, and they have been having very good company of our Indian kids also. So as such, I don't see any big difference going in 6th, 7th, or 8th.
Okay. So it sounds like just a social aspect of it might be challenging initially. Ultimately, it all evens out is what I'm hearing.
Okay. Yeah, and one just additional question to the follow-up question. Regarding this math, like base, generally what we know is it focuses on the science side, right? So regarding the maths and all, so is that this leveling up things, does base also continue that? Like AGS 1, AGS 2, leveling up in higher level. Like right now, my daughter is in 7, but she's doing AGS 1. So she leveled a bit, right? So is that it can base, or in base also, do we have the same thing, or it's different that it
Yes,
only
usually I think the student profile specifies what level they're already doing, and usually the student takes off from there is what I understood hearing from other parents. So if she has leveled up into AGS 1 in 7th grade, I'm sure she will start from next level from next year if she's starting 8th or 9th grade.
Okay, so even in base, we have that option of leveling up.
It's not exactly like leveling up. All the kids have a kind of placement test at the start of the year. If you're not happy with what she's doing, maybe you can make a personal connection with their math teacher and just discuss further what you think or what teacher thinks is right for the child. Like my kid did a summer school of AGS 2. And that automatically bumped in the BSD profile that Maha has finished AGS 2 and she started AGS 3 in 9th grade start of the year.
Okay, so I mean, you're talking about the one who is going to base.
That's correct.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Hi, this is Pavan, father of Adit. So I have question on SUMA program. So for a kid to be qualified for SUMA program, so he should have scores on both the COGAT as well as Iowa, or either one is good?
Either. COGAT, 99th percent on the full is SUMA, or ITBS, 99th in one and 97th in the other, math and reading is also SUMA. It's either or, not.
So COGAT is 97, correct?
COGAT is 97 in the screener, then they will be administered a full test, and they have to score 99th in the full test.
So what's the difference, the screener and the full test?
Screener is given to everybody. I think it's almost like a mandatory test in fifth grade. Is it fifth grade? That part I'm not super certain, because the last I checked, it was offered in third and fifth grade. It's a screener. I think it's one of the state requirements, maybe, just to screen them for COGAT. And once they screen out of that at 97th percentile or higher, then a month or so later, they get administered the full test. In that full test, they need to score 99th to be qualified as SUMA.
So that means if a kid has been already has 97 in second grade or third grade, still he has to take a full test when he's in fifth grade.
Correct. The pathway to SUMA from COGAT means that they have to have a 99th in the full test, regardless of how many prior 97s they got.
Okay, the full test can be only taken in fifth grade.
I think so, but again, I'm not, my information is 3 years old. My daughter is in 8th grade now. I haven't been keeping up with the latest.
Sorry, Jyoti, let me just jump in. I think while you're right on that, so all these tests have a 2-year expiration. Sorry. So if your child took it in third grade, for instance, and scored a 99, while in your head you think, well, it's SUMA qualified, by the time the child comes to fifth grade, the results really expire. So you can't really get into SUMA in sixth grade. You will have to retake COGAT in fifth grade. And if I'm not wrong, please don't quote me on this one, it's offered every other year. It's not offered in consecutive years. So
correct.
If you take, if your child takes, so there's some strategy involved even in that, right? So if you want your child to have an attempt in fifth grade, you want to take it in third grade and not second grade or fourth grade. So this is something that you'll kind of figure out, but both COGAT and ITBS have a 2-year expiration. So the idea is not to take him early and assume that you're guaranteed a SUMA seat. It's really fourth and fifth grade that'll get you closer to the sixth grade guarantee, if that makes sense.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, this COGAT and ITBS rules change every year. So this year, the screener was not compulsory for all the kids. We got an email like 1-2 months prior to apply for the COGAT screener. So all the people who didn't apply didn't get a chance to write COGAT screener. Yeah, it's not mandatory this year. The rules change every year. So
that is true.
Yeah.
Same with ITBS. The 2-year expiration applies for ITBS too. What Aparna said is actually very important piece. I should have covered it there. If your child is tagged in math or reading in first grade or second grade, while that is great to know where they stand, it has no bearing on SUMA path at all, because come fourth grade and fifth grade, they have to renew that and to qualify for the SUMA path with ITBS also.
Hi, this is Parul, Tashvi's mother. I have one more question. Like, my daughter is in stroller and she is in SUMA, and at present she is in AGS 3. And this year we are planning to apply for option school base. So I have 2 questions. Like, first, if she got selected for the option school for 9th grade, so whether she will go math for pre-calculus, or as you said that the base don't follow the accelerated math program. So at 9th grade, what subject she will need to study? And the second thing, if she will not selected for the option school and she will go to Westview, then at 9th state, whether she will go for a pre-calculus, because she is in a SUMMA. So at present she is reading AGS 3. Or so how the high school Westview differentiate between the SUMMA and non-SUMMA students in math?
I can take the Westview part of it. So Westview, by the time you are in, the child is in Westview, they no longer care whether the student is SUMMA or not. They look at what they have done for math in 8th grade. If she is doing AGS 3 now, automatically she would start from pre-calc in 9th grade, unless she wants to test out, and I'm sure there is screening test there too. At that point, it doesn't matter what SUMMA status doesn't matter. From what I heard from Padma, basis operates along similar lines also. Once you enter high school regime, whether option schools are regular, you go by what your child's level is at. If they have done AGS 2 in their 8th grade, they start with AGS 3. If they have done AGS 3, they start with pre-calc. And if they've done pre-calc already, like some of the kids doing, then they'll go to the next level. Or they test out to a higher level if they catch up on things over the summer. So the SUMMA part pretty much ceases to exist the moment they enter high school.
Okay, so if she got selected for the optional school in base, whether again she need to go for the math screening, or automatically she will jump up in pre-cal?
Hi, I'm Maha, and I believe that you don't have to, because on her profile, it will always show that she completed that class and that she can go to the next one. I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
That is correct.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Correct.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Swati. So I had a basic question, like if a kid is going from middle school to high school, do they need a specific amount of credits in non-academic activities like the different electives, sports, or games?
No, actually, there is no counting credits going from middle to high. When you are in I can speak for Stoller, the others can jump in with the other. In Stoller, every year they get to choose electives. It used to be 2 electives, 1 per semester. They have 6 or 7 elective choices to choose from. We have them in the slides. While they're in Stoller, they choose that elective. But come middle school to high school time, there is no counting of credits because the 4 core courses, everybody has to take them. 1 elective, everybody has to take. PE health, everybody takes. So there is really no difference between one kid and the other in terms of the number of classes they're taking.
So here, my main question is, because in the, whether I'm going for base or ACMA, in the optional school, there is not much focus on sports. And the electives are specified to the base school, I mean, the specific optional school which is there. So will this affect, if I'm opting out after 8th grade and for 9th grade, while going into 9th grade, I'm going for high school, will this affect the kid in high school? Because the electives are different, there is no sports or anything. So will it affect when they're going into high school?
Absolutely not. I haven't heard of any such incompatibility issues jumping from option to high versus regular to high. Absolutely not. Because they're not looking at specific PE credits or specific elective credits. They're just looking at, have they completed 6th, 7th, and 8th grades? I think that is the one simple question they look at.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Hey, hi, this is Sharanya, and my kid is not near the middle school age yet, but I do have a question regarding SUMMA. Do the kids need to be in SUMMA or tagged to apply for option schools, or it's there are other streams to apply to option schools?
They're 2 separate topics. SUMMA has nothing to do with option schools. Option schools have nothing to do with SUMMA. When your child is in 5th grade, they get to go to regular school or option school. If they choose regular school, like Stoller, Tumwater, etc., not the option school, then they have the option of staying on course like the rest of them, or checking to see if they need to be challenged more because they're SUMA. When you make that decision of option versus no option, option versus regular, when you choose regular, the SUMA question is only pertinent for regular schools. Option schools, they don't even consider SUMA tag at all. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah. Then what is the lottery doing there?
Option
How
school,
they
yes.
weigh?
Good question. So SUMA or not, regular school attendance, none of it is lottery. Your kid writes the appropriate COGAT or ITBS, your kid scores the requisite number of percentile, they meet the percentile goals for SUMA, they're automatically qualified for SUMA. Options are a lottery. Your kid is not guaranteed to go to ACMA, base, ISB, or RC until they win that lottery. SUMA is not a lottery. If they score a certain percentage, they are guaranteed. Even if every single student that wrote COGAT that year got 99th percentile, they will all be in SUMA. There is no cap. There is no limit on how many kids can be in SUMA. They take as many kids as are qualified at that 99th percentile restriction. But attendance at the option schools is a lottery because there are limited number of seats. They're application based. If they don't win the lottery, there is a second look where you could make a compelling essay. You can make your student write a compelling essay and hope to be considered in the second round. Or if it is not RC, like I mentioned before, RC 6th grade is the only time to get in. Other schools, you could try 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, higher grades also, like ISB and base. But it is a lottery. Option school is not guaranteed. Regular school, you can attend any day. SUMA, if your child qualifies, they will be in SOMA no matter what.
Yeah, thank you. That helps.
Hi, my name is Naga. I am Lasya's father. She's in 7th grade attending Meadow Park Middle School right now. We are planning to apply to option schools, probably base if possible. I have one question regarding AP exams. Basically for undergraduate admissions, what the admission officers care most is about what level of courses that they have taken in the high school, whether they took the challenging courses or not. So AP exams matter most for admissions. Do these option schools offer AP level courses or AP? Do they support AP classes?
Yes, for base, our school does offer AP classes from 10th grade, like most high schools.
Oh, nice. And do they have a lot of electives? Like if let's say you wanted to take AP chemistry, biology, AP, whatnot, like there are 20, 30 AP options.
Yeah, they have most of those classes, biology, chemistry, all those.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Physics. Yeah, of course.
Do we have any more questions? By the way, I have a question. So if the kid goes to middle school, like base till 12th grade, and later if she wants to go choose from other option like any other field other than science and technology, science and engineering, so will that be a problem? Padma garu?
I don't think there will be any problem, but yeah, it's mostly it.
Okay.
I think most of the times the kids know if that is what they want or not by the time they finish middle school. If they go to ISB or base or any of these, the point of realization, I think, is 8th grade right away. in my personal opinion, they wouldn't last the rigor of the 4 years of very specific science and technology centric education if they're not into it. I think they'll let you know if they started in 6th grade, they'll let you know by 8th grade if that's the path they want or if they want out. From talking to various children that go to these option schools, that's the impression I take away.
But for sure, you can always every year, if you want to change a pathway, you can totally change that. That's what, if you want to do what you're interested in, you can change the pathway.
Mm-hmm. Do we have any more questions? Or we can end the session.
Hi, this is Preeti. Hi, Madhuri. You mentioned a WhatsApp group at the beginning of the session. Would you be able to share the link? I am not part of that group. I would like to join.
Yeah, sure. I will send you my WhatsApp number in the chat. You can message me. I'll send you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, I saw one question there in the chat about the transportation for option schools. They do have transportation. The school bus comes in very early though. So they can, they give you option to ride on a school bus. For example, for my daughter, the option to go to school bus, it's like 6:30 in the morning. Or you can just, drive by car and start at 7 o'clock in the morning if you want to go by car. So those are, I do want to mention that BSD does offer the transportation in the morning. It's really early. So if you are okay with that, you can always do the school bus option. Coming back from school, they usually drop you off at the big, they call it hub. So for us, it's Westview is the hub. So she gets dropped off at Westview, and then she has to walk home because we are very near from Westview area. If you are living a little bit further away, you can hop onto another bus and go to your stop. They will leave you at just like your elementary school. There will be a stop in the neighborhood. So you have to do 2 buses, or you have to do just 1 bus up to the hub and walk home.
Hey, I'm Kavita. So my kid is 5th grader at Findlay. I have a question. I heard for if a kid is choosing base, it's like a science and technology based. So like that, can you tell me if a kid is choosing ISB, where do they will land? Is it going to be a language centric or something else?
They do have a little bit of both, I would say. The emphasis, they have 3 languages, what they offer. And I think their path is in 6th grade, try out all the 3 languages. They have Japanese, Spanish, and Mandarin. So there is no opt out here. You have to do all the 3 languages. And in 7th grade, you can choose what are the 2 you want to continue further on. But as far as math and science, it's pretty similar to what you would get in kind of SUMMA schools, is what I have heard. You can still do like AGS1, AGS2 in 7th grade, 8th grade, just like how you would do it in Stoller SUMMA. So I think on those parts, they just keep up similar to what the SUMMA program would be in Stoller.
Okay, so it's like a traditional curriculum plus additionally 4 languages, right?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And the language part also, when they go to high school, if say they are doing Spanish in ISB for all 3 grades, they can jump into the higher level in high school as well. So you kind of get a bump in the high school as well if you choose to go to Westview, Sunset, like that.
I see. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we can end the session. Thank you so much, all the parents, for your wonderful inputs. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Have a good
Hey,
night.
hey, Jyoti and or Madhuri, are you guys going to share the slides in the WhatsApp chat?
Yeah. Yeah, we can do that.
Is it possible? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, and thanks to Madhuri and thanks to Jyoti and everybody too. I know it's late night, but thanks for all the information too.
You're welcome. Okay, thank you so much for everyone for joining. Have a good night. I'm ending the session. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.